Welcome everyone. Today I'm incredibly excited about this session because we're about to hear from our first millennial on Spotlight. And I'd like to introduce Darren Arbuckle, the owner of Linked Up. Darren, welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Martin. Really happy to be on here.
Yeah, and Darren and I actually caught up, I think maybe it was last week, really for the first time. And I came away from our phone conversations so inspired, so in awe of the way that you think about not just what you do, what you're passionate about, but also the way you think about technology. And my first question was, would you come and spend some time with us on Spotlight? Because I think you talk to a generational shift that we're seeing, and I'm personally incredibly energized by it. So first of all, mate, thank you for joining us and really excited about what we're about to talk about.
As am I. I must say, I've been looking forward to it the entire week.
Fantastic. So, Darren, let's start with because you and I had some really good conversation in a short period of time. Your relationship with technology and how you see technology playing a role in helping you build your business and grow your business. I'd love to get some of your thoughts on that.
So, when I look at technology, and I use few systems here and there. And the one thing is that when I look at technology, it has to speak to exactly what I'm trying to do in my business. And I don't believe if you've heard of the term called a super app.
Right, yeah.
Super app, yeah. So basically how I see technology is that I want it to be able to do what I need to do. And it also has to make my life so much easier. It must make things very convenient for me. And the one thing that I want in my technology is I want to be able to access information at a click of a button, the right information. So for me, technology has to showcase the information that I want exactly at the right time when I need it, and it also has to perform certain tasks that I really don't want to do. So with technology, it's also about automation, and it's making certain that I don't have to do the things that I hate, and that the software itself can do it.
Yes.
So we're looking. I feel with millennials on our side is that we want software that's quick, does the jobs we hate, but it kind of gives us the information that we need at the click of a button. And the things that all my apps need to have is an app that I can use on my mobile because I'm constantly on the go and I need to access that information whether I'm at McDonald's or I'm in Cape Town or just I'm on the road and someone's asking me a question. I need the information on hand immediately. And that's what I look for with regards to my technology.
Yeah, I love the way you think about even the word app, right, versus the word tools. And I was having this conversation recently with someone because we've got stratapp, as in strat for strategy, so your hashtag for social, strat for strategy, and app, which is we want people to know it's a downloadable app you can start to run your business on. Right, it's not something we have to sit at a desktop to be able to work on. Well, something you said that sort of also got me just then and also triggered me last week when you first saw stratapp, and I really try not to make these a stratapp promotion, a self-promotion, but it was just what you said and how you really engaged with me last week on the initial one when you saw exactly what you're explaining, which is these are the things where I'm going. These are the things that I need to do, whether you like doing them or not, right? You know what you're prioritizing. And then the other thing you really intrigued me by was I'm an ideas person. And this really got me passionate. When I first saw you and I first went through it and I saw, wow, you created something like 30 odd ideas in the app in short order. I just went, the power of just even that in a single place now that can be aligned to where we said we needed to go. And I just want to talk about that for a minute. How does that energize you? Because that's definitely in your DNA.
So the thing about me is that I come up with boatloads of ideas. And the issue that I was having was that these boatloads of ideas were going on pieces of paper and I couldn't categorize them the way that I wanted to, because obviously there's so many applications out there that do capture ideas. And the thing that I loved about stratapp was how I could link ideas to goals. That's amazing. And the reason why I was creating so many ideas, and with the ideas, you also have the option to do challenges. So I would actually give myself problems and then work out challenges for that. And then I would link it to a certain goal that I'm having. And it's just about that link. It's like goal, challenge, idea, and then you can even go further in the idea and you can talk more about the idea. And the best thing about it is that I can access this idea wherever I am. I can edit it, I can update it, because the thing is, on a piece of paper, obviously I lose them all the time. But the thing is that you can go back into idea, look into an idea and make it better. And that honestly for me was a game changer. And that's my favorite part of your tool, of the app, is the ideation phase, is because I can capture all my ideas and I don't have to lose them. And I can go back and go, Darren, what were you thinking here? That's stupid. Well, I can go, wow, that's cool. I'm gonna keep that. Let me add a little bit to it, come back to it a week later, say, yes, okay, let me add to this. And that's what I'm saying, is that I always have access to edit that information, and it's just linked to a goal. It's linked to what is important to me. And the one thing that I find a lot of small business owners and micro business owners have is that we've got multiple problems, but there's that one problem that is egging at us. That one thing, that there's a fire in our business and we need to put it out. And that's why, about kind of saying, okay, this is my challenge, my idea. Okay, look back at my ideas and go, okay, I'm going to action this one, turn it into a task. And then, okay, this is the line items done. And then I say, did it solve my problem? Yes, it did. This is all in stratapp. And that is
forward at speed. Yeah, I love it.
Exactly. And that is true power. And the cool thing about this is the collaboration effect, is the collaboration that you can have. Now, I'm a micro business. I'm just one, and I'm a one user on the system. But I have actually looked at this because I'm thinking of actually bringing someone new into my organization. But I want them to, I'm going to put them on here immediately, because I was actually building my, you've got your tree where you have where you've got the strategy tree, and for them to actually see that, and then for them to put in their ideas as well. And I can go look at what they're thinking about. And the collaboration on this thing is phenomenal. And it's seriously a game changer. And that's really what I love about this. And I'm so passionate about it.
But and so am I, but I'm more passionate about you being passionate about it than me being passionate about it. And you see it in a light in the way that we thought about what a new tool should look like. Because it should be very much, there's a clear picture on where we want to go. Is it perfect? No, it doesn't have to be. Right, but it's there. That's where we go. We're going to evolve that over time, but it's now, how do we prioritize the things that we need to do? And now let's get to the work. Right, let's now get to it. And onboarding people the way you just described is a powerful way to get people embedded with where we're going, why we're going there, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. And now let's just get working. Right, very powerful. Would you explain?
Yeah. So also with regards to the ideas, not only would I say that it would just be regarding the problems that I have in the business, but also the strategy. And obviously, one thing, especially as a small business, your strategy changes because suddenly an idea pops up, and then suddenly you find that idea, it starts making you think differently, and then you start looking at your strategy evolving. Now, this is what I also like, is that I'm not stuck on one strategy. I'm able to constantly evolve that strategy into what it works and how it links with the entire business as a whole. And where you said about bringing your other individuals into the organization to look, they can see these changes real time. So normally what would happen is that from what I've heard, because I'm a small business, but I work with a lot of companies that have multiple employees inside, and pretty much they don't know when the strategy of the business is changing. And the thing is, with this, I can just imagine it's like, oh, we've got a new goal. Let's go for it, guys. And they can literally see it on the tree. It changes right there and then. And it's like they are involved directly in the organization and for it to achieve its goals. And they feel like they're actually part of that discussion of where the business is going.
Love it.
That's so cool.
It's awesome. And I think that you sort of work with me then on this scenario. if you were put into a company today, if you went into a mid-sized company today and you were handed email and you were handed an Excel spreadsheet and you were handed another piece of technology, or in some cases you may not have been handed any technology apart from a laptop, and you'll get told to go do a job that you just then had to go, how would you feel about that? Does that resonate with you? That am I going to be super aligned? Am I going to be super focused? Or is it this more spaghetti situation, which I'm trying to make sense of it, and to be productive in that environment is very challenging?
Yeah, so if I had to go into a mid-level organization now and they told me, okay, this is your job, here's your laptop, here's the Excel spreadsheet, and this is the thing you're going to work on. I would, I feel like I would feel like I'm just there to do a job.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I feel like I'd like to know more about why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'd like to know more about the company and, okay, so if I do this, what happens? What happens if I don't do this?
Yeah.
I would like someone to actually go through me with where the organization is going, because number one, I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
I want to know the purpose that I have in the business, because listen, that we don't just want a job. We want something that whatever we do must matter.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
doing a job and ticking a box does not work for me. And I feel like it would work for a lot of millennials. We want to say, if I do this, then this is the effect it will have for future. Because we are always constantly looking at exactly what we do now, what does it do later?
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying is that I want to know the action that I have, what is it, how is it aligned to the strategy of the business? How am I playing my part in the business? Because now I'm here, I'm part of this business in itself, and I want to make certain that I'm making a difference in the business. And that's what most millennials are. We want to make a difference in the business. And if we can see how we're making a difference, we would be more engaged.
Love it.
And
I love
that I think is the power of showcasing your strategy and showcasing how certain tasks actually align with the goal. And it's about small little tasks. Even though it's like one small task, two small tasks, three small tasks, as if you look back at all those tasks over the year, you then see a massive difference because you've just been climbing.
Yes.
And then you feel, okay, I was a part of that. I grew it. And as millennials, we also want to make certain that we're very conscious about what our organization is doing and where it's going. I find, and we just want to make certain that it's always on the right path.
Yeah. That's awesome. And the one thing I wanted to sort of flow from that, because you talked to two things. What am I doing today and what impact does it have? Right, is one. Yes. And the other thing you talked about was I really want to know what's happening in the business. Right? I'll buy into it if I know what's happening, but if I'm sheltered from it and I have really no understanding, not just what my role contextually, that's one thing, but then what everyone else is doing and how we're, are we winning? Are we actually doing things? I want to be able to be part of that journey. The other area that I'm personally passionate about, and hey, I was a young fellow once as well, and I spent a lot of my time when I was building a young business with your age group, because to me that's where the future was. That's where the energy was, and I embraced it. And I didn't necessarily at the time embrace it through technology. I embraced it by sitting down and listening and really getting the ideas out. And I promoted a lot of young people along the way, because to me, that's where the future was. And when you think about ideas, like you sum something up that we see, because we all have tasks that we've got to do that we don't love doing. Right? That's just the reality of life. But hey, I may be doing a job, I may be hired to do a job, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I may be super passionate, I may not be, but I'm still into it and I'm clear on the direction I'm running. But I'm passionate about something over here, right? And how do we create an environment to allow the millennial generation to be able to have a voice in other things within the business that they're passionate about? Right? And that's to me where the stars are then identified, and how we actually also grow internal stakeholders or internal employees to become great employees, to become leaders of our future business. And how do you think about that?
So I think that on the ideation phase that you've got over here, I honestly believe an idea can change the world, but you need someone behind it to steamroll it ahead. You need someone to push it forward. And I think how millennials could probably showcase other, where they could try and get into other parts of the business, is that to have an internal tool where a person can put down a challenge and the millennial can go, well, what about this? What if you tried this? Have you thought of doing this? Here's an idea. How could we make this idea work? And then you can just say, hey Frank, what do you think of this idea? Or what do you think of this idea? And then everyone starts pushing on this idea, and they start, and because the thing is, two heads is better than one, 3 heads is quite cool, 4 heads, and eventually you've got the whole organization behind one idea. Think about the brain power going to this one idea. And suddenly it all started from this millennial starting a discussion saying, I want to do this better. How can I do it better? Yeah, please tell me. And then suddenly everyone just starts putting their information, and the amount that you actually learn from that, because the thing is that how you will look at a situation, you will look at it from the left-hand side. How I look at it, I'll look at it from the right-hand side. How another guy will look at it, he'll look at it from the top, and another person will look at the bottom. And the thing is, you've got all these perspectives, and then you're starting to say, okay, well, I didn't actually see it like that, but it's great because we can maybe do this. And then suddenly your challenge, the whole organization has actually helped make your job a lot easier because they've solved it for you. And it could be in your department. And that's a way that millennials could actually start showing interest in other areas of the businesses, that they can actually start chipping in with ideas that they have. And eventually the department can say, well, you know what, this kid over here has been commenting on our stuff for months. And you know what? He obviously is very interested in this part, and he seriously wants to learn more, and he's actually come up with some great ideas. Maybe we should actually talk to him. Let's ask him what he's interested in, because the thing is, when you are interested in what you do, you are passionate. And when you are passionate, you create exceptional work. And we want employees in the business to be exceptional, and they must love what they do, because when they love what they do, they provide stellar results. And that's
you're touching on a lot of things. Right? Think of the power of it. Like I say to people, intellectual property is not intellectual property; it's intellectual power. Like you've got all of this collective. The question you need to be asking yourself as a leader is, how do we harness it, and how do we unleash it, right? And ensure that we're rallying it towards where the common purpose and vision. But if we just get stuck to doing a job, especially in COVID periods where we're remote, right, and we tend to get task orientated, and sitting at home doing a task, as you rightfully, it's not exciting to do a task. But when I know that something's really contextual, but then I've got the ability to then breathe in the real things that I want to get out in my body, it doesn't matter where you are, you can make it work.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You can really make it work. So the other thing too that I think about when I think about you and how you think about, it's really your purpose. Really, isn't it? It's not necessarily it's a role, it's a company, it's a function. It's more about how you feel that you want to lead your life. Is when I listen to you. There's a great topic of conversation around inclusive and exclusive collaboration right now. Right. So how do we harness the ability for everyone to be able to get involved in a piece of work? Right. And instead of actually us having a conversation over here, whether it's via email or a thread, etc., that's exclusive because I haven't included the other 5 people that could impact the outcome. Right.
And they're also not seeing the information on the other side.
Yeah,
they haven't been privy to the other conversations, and there's that barrier of information that you have that they don't have, and they're probably and you're basically gonna have this dual. They might be suggesting the same thing that this guy said, but they wouldn't know that they're suggesting the same thing. So you're just wasting time.
Yeah. So you look at it as in that's a really good way to look at it. It is wasting a lot of time. That's a beautiful way to think about it, because you actually looked at the scenario, the situation, and went straight to an outcome, which I love. But that's super quick. That's super quick on how you just pieced all that together. So how do you think about, as we continue to, we're not bridging the gap between one generation to the next. To me, it's how do we continue to build it as one and move at the same speed? But the reality is, like every generational gap, people bring certain skill sets, and you're very, very digital savvy, right?
Yeah.
You're bringing a whole new set of skill sets on the digital era, the level of information you can gather real time. Your thinking becomes a lot clearer in that space as well, where we do have a leadership framework. And I have a lot of these conversations as well. And I'm really passionate about bringing the two together faster, right? Where hierarchy, top down, traditional tools are driving the business, like finance systems and all these systems are driving the business. But the reality is they don't touch every employee, right? They definitely don't motivate every employee, right? These systems. So how do you think about how do we bring those two generational elements together faster from where you stand?
So I think maybe how I would look at it if I were running let's say a multi-million-dollar company and I had a bunch of employees. Number one, I would take a look at the different generation strengths, because the thing is that with millennials, okay, I'm certain you're familiar with a game called Minecraft.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. Now, the one thing about Minecraft is that when you are building something, you're actually able to create automations in this game to be able to build things.
Yeah.
Now, I think we've been playing this game for years as millennials, and that's what we've been growing up with during our teen years. So we're always looking to automate in order to improve something or to do something quicker or to get this item. We're always looking at automation, and that's why our process is like, how can we connect this to this to this to this in order to produce this at a quicker rate where it doesn't use as much materials and so on. That's how we think.
Yeah.
On the leadership side, but the thing is, I find that millennials, we're not as focused as the generation before us, because because obviously we were born with the internet. We've always had the internet, so our attention span is very, very. I would say we can move. We're very quick, and we can move from here to here to here to here to here to here. Yeah. But the thing with your guys' generation is that you guys are pretty much like, this is what I do, and this is what I want to do, and you guys can stick to that. And I think it's about harnessing that focus with the energy and the ideas of the millennial generation, and just like saying, okay, come back, do this, do this, or this. No, don't go back, come back. And it's about getting the generation out to say, listen, just focus. And I'm speaking from experience, because that's what your generation is doing for me at the moment.
Yes.
Because I can go on a tangent, and I've literally got people saying, no, Darren, come back here. Yeah. This is what I want you to do. Okay, cool. Yeah. Then I do it, and then that's why I'm saying, if you could get into an organization and you have someone in a management position who could take the energy from there and just keep them and say, this is your goal, get it done. And then that way the millennial can come up with different solutions to get it done, and he can find ways to improve it and so on. Yeah. But then he can also go to the advice. But you always need someone above him just to make certain that he's staying on topic.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love it. That level of clarity, the way you articulate it, Darren, is incredibly powerful. Powerful. That you, especially that last bit you just shared. I absolutely love it. As we actually look to wrap this up, is there anything else top of mind for you that we can share with the audience on how the millennials are thinking around how do they maximize their time inside the workforce?
So as a millennial, I know that we've constantly gone through generations where people are looking at time, and especially with working remotely, and people are saying, I want a timesheet. Mm-hmm. And I feel like millennials, and maybe this is me just in general, but if I can do something, and I can do it in a minute, and it should take me 10 hours. But if I can figure out how to do it in a minute, as long as the job gets done, that's the thing, is that we just want to, I find millennials just want to deliver outputs. They don't want to be timed on how they deliver their outputs. If it's quality, I think that they don't want to be held back, because the thing is, at this point in time, we can work from home, we can go travel. I mean, if I can explain this to you, I'm a young man. I've just recently been married. Me and my wife, we could go travel right now if we wanted to. And I could be in an organization and they tell me, Darren, you need to get this done today. Cool. I want your timesheet. Now, let's say I worked an 8-hour day, and then it's like, okay, but I'm in Rome. I'm in Rome for 8 hours for a week. Now I say, okay, how can I get this done faster? Because I want to spend more time touring.
Yep.
I want to be able to get this done. And if this is done, I don't want to say, oh, it took me only 3 hours. Oh, we're only going to pay you for 3 hours of work. But I got the same thing done.
Yes.
Why are you paying me less for the output? It's like, I want to be paid for outputs. Yeah. I do not want my value to base here. I think this is a very cool way to say it. I do not want to value my time the way you want to value it for me. My time is more precious than 150 Rand an hour.
Yeah.
I can produce so much more output. I want my value to be based on my output, because if you value my life at 150 Rand an hour, I'm cheap.
Yeah.
But if you say, okay, here's an item you wanted, it's done. Okay, Darren, you've managed to give me all your goals this month. Here's your full salary.
Yeah.
I don't care that you did it in 10 hours. I know exactly this is how much effort you put into me.
Yeah.
I know this is the value that it brought to my organization. And I think millennials don't want to be valued based on their time. They want to be based on the output that they give.
Yeah, this is where it gets a slippery slope for you and I, because I've had when we were looking to, when we started stratapp, the idea was it was so designed for, I'm not going to say millennials, but it was so designed for your thinking, right? Because there's a lot of people that think this way. And we saw a universe where things like personal gain was going to become more important than professional gain. For example, I want to travel. Well, why do I have to take leave to travel? Why can't I travel and take my job with me?
Exactly.
Or, hey, I want to work 3 days a week and somebody wants to work 2 days a week. Well, that's great. But why can't we job share when we're 100% in alignment of what we're both doing so we can move it forward faster? So we're not working 3 days a week and actually physically work 5, right? And getting paid for 3. So this whole space is really designed in technology from my side around how do we actually enable what's most important to the individual, and then how do we help them move it forward in a way that they want to, that benefits who they're working for. Right? So it's a win-win situation. And I just love the way you think about time and output, because there's also another discussion here to be had around a level of visibility and accountability through generations. And this is another topic as well.
Yeah, right? we could talk about that for a long time.
Yeah, right? And in your model, you're saying, don't time me, measure me on my work. And by the way, you can see everything in that work. And by the way, if we can move it together and collaborate faster, amen, that benefits all of us. Where a lot of my generation was more of a close, let me do my thing and I'll get it done. Don't question me, and I'll get it done, and then I'll present it. And so there is a big shift between those two areas, because there's still a lot of companies out there that don't like the idea of showing the whole plan, that don't like the idea of showing my work and I want to bundle it here because that's mine and that's not yours. How do we actually get everyone collaborating around where we said we needed to go? And that's the power of togetherness that we're going to be able to create. And I said to someone the other day, we get to rewrite the record books on this story. We don't have to do what we've done in the past. So you get to rewrite the record books as well in the way that we work. And that's what we're actually defining as we move along as well. Yeah. So mate, I really appreciate this time together. You're an incredibly inspirational young man. And I just wanted to say thank you very much, because you've enlightened me a lot, and we've only known each other 1 week. And I really look forward to spending more time with you as we continue to actually form our partnership and work with you in the South African market. Fantastic, mate. Well, Darren, really appreciate your time today and look forward to continuing our relationship. If anyone wants to reach out to Darren Arbuckle on LinkedIn, you can do so. So, mate, thank you very much for your time today.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Martin. It was an absolute pleasure. Really, really did enjoy our chat.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.